There was a, shall we say, golden opportunity right in front of Blink, and they didn't take it. For your deluxe album of One More Time, it's right there. The jokes write themselves. One more time again, reference to what's my age again, or maybe two more times, that's kind of funny, right? It's better than One More Time Part 2. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is John. I hope you're doing well. Blink-182 have some more new music off the heels of their #1 album that launched last fall. This year, they're giving us 8 new songs, 2 singles to kick it off. They've been out on the road, hitting major festivals like Coachella. The lineup with Tom DeLonge has been re-solidified, and with Travis Barker primarily handling production, things, I think we're just gonna have to accept it, have gotten very sanitized. It's not so much a problem for me because it doesn't really feel like it oversteps the bounds where it's trying to do too much, except maybe if we're talking about the auto-tune on Tom's voice. Nothing to do, nothing to see, no fun anymore. They're no longer trying to keep that a secret. The Cheshire Cat has gotten out of the bag. You can hear it on tracks that Tom sings on the deluxe edition here. I figured this review might go more smoothly if we tried out the tier list format for it, so if you like this, going track by track and want to see it more in the future, let me know with a like on the video and in the comments below. No Fun is up first. I'm putting this track in the B tier. I think it's a solid listen, and I like the message behind the song. The sentiment that really modern living has zapped all of the fun out of the equation, and we're just kind of walking around like always having to be busy, tethered to our phones like zombies. If nostalgia makes your head spin, you'll like this song even more. I don't think it's extraordinary, but again, B tier is solid. All in My Head is the only one here, spoiler alert, that I'm gonna put in the S tier. This song is such a rager. It definitely is like one of those tracks that gets my blood pumping that I didn't expect them to have this level of like octane and energy. First of all, I'm always gonna be a sucker for the formula of Mark and Tom singing on the same track and having that dynamic, that charisma that only they can bring. Time will tell if this is remembered as a fan favorite or one of their all-time best, but I really do think All in My Head is incredibly strong. The drumming is phenomenal. The third new song is Can't Go Back. I think I'm also gonna put this one in the B tier right next to No Fun. This song is solid. It's also really repetitive. I think the chorus drags it down a bit because its verses are stronger. Mark Hoppus definitely has his calling cards written all over this track, and it can feel a little too formulaic the way that he writes about love, relationships, seasons of life. It does feel like it has a bit more edge or ingenuity to it compared to some of the stuff that he was putting out on 9 and California lyrically. Really solid tune, enjoyable listen. I don't know how much of a shelf life it's gonna have, but still solid. Every Other Weekend is up next, and I think I'm gonna have to slide this one in the C tier. This song didn't leave much of an impression with me, not a positive one at least. It's very run-of-the-mill. It's very like, yeah, that's a Blink-182 song. I could pick that out of a lineup a mile away. My wife was pointing out the similarities between this and California Deluxe, with the extra songs kind of feeling like their own album rather than just some sort of unnecessary extension or an add-on pack of just B-sides that clearly didn't make it off the cutting room floor for a reason. The fleeting feeling of romance is in the air. If You Never Left, we're gonna go B tier, but I'm actually gonna bump this to the top of that tier. What I think it has above those other songs there is those vocal harmonies, the richness that you might come to Blink for. But like many of the other cuts from this expansion, I think that they do a great job at experimenting a bit with the core Blink sound and building on like they did with Neighborhoods and Untitled. If You Never Left has sincerity at its bones. I love that surge into the chorus. It's electric. It's worth noting that I'm definitely picking up some Angels and Airwaves vibes on certain tracks, whereas others might remind you more of Plus 44 or even Boxcar Racer. And one that reminds me of the latter is our next track, Everyone Everywhere, except it's an amalgamation of a lot of stuff. I'm putting it in the A tier. It's my second favorite out of the 8. This definitely sounds like a follow-up to Dogs Eating Dogs in Neighborhoods, and I grew to love that era so much, and to see them putting out tracks that rival that quality makes me a very happy man. When Blink give themselves permission to get weirder with it like this, we get great tracks, and we saw that on the standard album. I recommend checking out my full review. There's a card on screen now, or there will be one at the end of the video if you want to see my full thoughts on those other songs. Being upfront about my next one, I'm really not digging One Night Stand. It's definitely on the lower end. I'm not going to quite put it D tier, but lower C tier. I really don't like Tom's vocals on the chorus, and the ooh yeah, it gets really aggravating really fast. There's just not much going on here. The shuffling drum pattern is not that interesting. I really don't like the lyrics whatsoever. It feels like a rehash. We do end on a better note with Take Me In, which I'm gonna bump up there in the B tier, second in the B tier. This is kind of a montage walk-off type of song. I like the fact that it has some electronic elements sneaking its way in, with the intro being a little bit more open-ended and then solidifying itself and anchoring with some bigger guitars and drums that burst through. We're not exactly reinventing the wheel, and I have to kind of turn off my mind when it comes to the vagueness, or rather the shallowness of some of the lyrics that feel like they're just kind of circling the drain, but it doesn't really take me out of the songs fully on the majority of the moments, and this one is no exception. I feel like this is a pretty solid expansion to One More Time. I don't think all the songs are gold by any means, and I think some are a little bit more throwaway, but I would, even with these new songs added on, stand by my 4 out of 5 for the entire album, One More Time and One More Time Part 2. I'm gonna pull the plug there. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Subscribe if you're new in town. Hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. If you want to see more of my Blink-182 content, then there's a playlist floating right above my head that you can click and go down that rabbit hole. If you don't want to fall down that rabbit hole, then I would suggest clicking the One More Time review over here floating next to me if you want to hear my thoughts on those original songs.